Is it just me, or does anyone else feel like this relationship is phony, fake, publicity stunt, stage, and possibly even being used for political gain?
I love when I predict something like months in advance and then one of you tag me in the materialization of that prediction and you guys are like, it happened again. I couldn't stitch that creator, so I'm going to tag her down below. But yes, it's absolutely political. Whenever we are in an election year, everything is political. And if you're like, yeah, but they're celebrities, like the main purpose of celebrities is to push politics. Whether it's wealth, status, class, race, elections, voting, all of it, anything celebrities do is political. And I will tell you how I came to this conclusion specifically with Taylor and Travis. So when Travis and Taylor first started being spotted, I always think something is up whenever something's just new and different. Like, I always have something to say about it, but I didn't want to be that bitch that like always has something to say about something. I wanted to let everybody breathe a little bit before I shared my perspective. So I started getting a little inkling. I want to say in like August, September that I was like, yeah, something's up with this. Just because we've seen Taylor Swift date like a million people before and she's never been this loud and proud about it. So I was like, okay, there's so much money on the line. She wouldn't just be doing this over a little crush. So I started off light and I said that I had a theory that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's football romance is building the foundation for a resurgence of US patriotism leading into the 2024 elections. I also noted that Olivia Rodrigo's like very 2000s teen angsty album and the return of love for Diet Coke is so bimbo Americana. And I don't think that's, you know, in like a cute way. I was saying that it's actually a little bit concerning and it kind of reminds me of like post-11, pre-recession dissociation. Think of like playing Wii Sports and hearing your parents get divorced in the background because you guys were going bankrupt. That's the vibes that I was feeling with this. I said this was the peak of the Iraq War and all we knew was Paris Hilton, we, swine flu, and American Idol. Just a few days prior, I made a pretty big statement that I think Donald Trump is going to win the 2024 elections. Obviously, I'm going to have to look into this a little bit more, but this was off of first glance in his chart and is a totally separate conversation. But one of my main points in saying this is basically here at the bottom that some of our favorite celebrities and influencers are heavily going to be leaning into either which direction to sway our vote. And then it's usually something that goes right under our nose. And like I said before, I think the soft life femininity content, I think Andrew Tate, I think all of those people play into this as well. This is also around the same time that we saw Kim Kardashian do a Skims line where she was really incorporating sports and athleticism. I was very shocked that she didn't use Travis Kelce to endorse this line, but I was like, oh, it's probably because like he's dating Taylor and Taylor and Kim Kardashian don't like each other. But in hindsight, I think it's because Kim Kardashian is very right-wing woman. And then obviously Travis and Taylor were really big of a Halloween costume and we saw Mitt Romney and his wife being them, but he's a Republican. So I was still trying to, you know, put my feelers out there and figure out, okay, I know this is political, but in which direction? So those were just my initial observations. And then I shut my mouth for a little bit because I was like, let me not go too crazy without feeling completely confident in what I think this means. At the beginning of the year, upon looking into Taylor's chart, I was saying that we really need to keep an eye on her, especially as we go into the spring. The Super Bowl and Valentine's Day and around February 22nd is particularly big for her. I have another video on that already posted on my page if you want to go watch it. But really what we're seeing is like a profound, transformative, major shift to her finances, romantic situation, or like public image. Just know that going into spring is going to be very big. Honestly, the whole year is a little like, whoa. With a major transit like that, sometimes we can assume the biggest thing, which would be like an engagement or pregnancy. But I was saying realistically, it's probably going to be like a new image or some rebranding, the start of a new literal era, maybe being like an industry disruptor of some sort, partnering with like a new company in a very big way. Then I talked a little bit about Travis and her as a relationship, but I was basically saying that she has such a powerful influence to really move the needle, whether it's politically or not. And that's why I say to pay attention to any celebrity that's really making news during an election year, because it's not accidental. Some of my major predictions again had something to do with like, okay, maybe she's gonna get engaged at the Super Bowl. Like, is that too cliche? Is that too Americana football romance? So I was like, oh, maybe she'll do the halftime show. But then I found out that Usher's doing the halftime show, so I was like, oh, I guess it's not her then. Then I was talking to a friend who's a little bit in the industry and was basically saying like, no, I do think she's going to perform at the Super Bowl and make part of it about Travis. And I was like, yeah, but it's Usher. Like, would she do a surprise thing? And she was like, yeah, bitch, that's like common. So this started to help me really craft my prediction. I was like, yeah, this is absolutely political, 100% across the board. First of all, I already accurately predicted that the Chiefs were going to make it to the Super Bowl, and this was back in January. If you want a little tidbit of my Super Bowl predictions, you can go read this article that Lauren Ash featured me in. She's another beautiful Cancerian astrologer on this app. I'll try to link it in my bio. But basically, if we're not getting the craziest night ever where Taylor Swift does a surprise performance at the halftime show, or she gets proposed to by Travis Kelce on the field after they win, I think what this is going to be is actually like a very humble demonstration of her giving the quote-unquote stage to Travis Kelce. And even if she does have a moment of spotlight, she's going to make it about him. She's going to kind of put herself on the back burner, I think, in a way to earn the hearts of people in sports. I think she, weirdly enough, maybe might wiggle her way into the sports industry, whatever that means, even if it's just like investing in a team. Listen, I don't know anything about the sports industry, okay? But I feel like she might be going in that realm somehow. I think she's gonna be a football player. But listen, baby, we know Taylor Swift is a Democrat. It's almost that time of year where we start to get all of these, you know what I'm talking about, performances of voting and knowing that celebrities impact their fans, and because we are all suffering from the brain rot of idolizing celebrities and people that we don't actually know, that are literally like characters on a chessboard, people just vote for who their fave votes for. Or there's manufactured rage that leads you to go in either which direction. We're seeing a lot of MAGA hates Taylor Swift. I was at the gym the other day, and on like half of the TVs was after the Chiefs won versus the Ravens, like all of these headlines saying like MAGA versus Taylor. So let's say there's a scuffle or a manufactured little PR stunt or something where some Republican or alt-right person, like there's something that is very pushed against Taylor Swift. That woman owns the white liberal female vote. They will try to like defend their hero through voting blue. So now to elections, literally, if you see any sort of like controversy of like Taylor Swift versus the Republican Party, it's not for no reason. You know, our boy Travis Kelce is literally the poster child for Pfizer right now. So while I did initially feel like Travis Kelce was a little bit of a gold digger woman himself, which I'm not completely opposed against, we can't say that he needs to ride off of that woman's money, because he has his own money and he made quite a lot from that endorsement. The birth rates are down. The people have turned on Biden. Women hate men. Our society is collapsing in on itself. We turn to music, celebrities, and entertainment when the economy goes down. If Taylor Swift gets engaged or pregnant with Travis Kelce, it will literally flip the vote, flip the birth rate, and flip the economy. Her tour literally influenced the economy. It's not for no reason. I'm excited to see how it goes, like, because everything's real and none of it's real at the same time. Same thing with even Nicki Minaj and the Megan Thee Stallion beef. I was saying, for people that are interested in celebrities for the same reason I am, not because we're like, oh my god, I love them, but because we're like, what is this gonna do to us? For anyone that doesn't know, Rob Shapiro made like a rap that was just, it was corny. It's exactly what you would imagine it to be. It was just like transphobic, like again, literally anything you would imagine Rob Shapiro to say, but just like with a weird rhythm. The song actually charted and it was next to #1, which was his at the time. And this is also when, I think this was right before Nicki Minaj posted her like rebuttal, but while she was still going on her coke binge, alleged coke binge. And he said, also, Nicki Minaj is correct about your flow. We're coming for you, Megan Thee Stallion. Which brain dead Nicki Minaj and her barbs like supported and giggled and kikied about like it's funny and not life altering. Was I saying Rob Shapiro? I meant Ben Shapiro. I'm sorry if I was saying Rob. But like seeing these memes and stuff, having these in our brains, having Nicki Minaj's fans literally like root Ben Shapiro on as a bunch of gay, black, they, thems, men, women. He doesn't like you guys, by the way. Famous line, I'm a Republican voting for Mitt Romney. You lazy bitches is fucking up the economy. Yeah. I want to know what you guys think. Sorry, one more thing before I forget, and then I'll stop talking. Taylor's Pluto-Venus aspect hasn't perfected yet, meaning like it hasn't peaked, it hasn't given us all that it's gonna give us. Considering the like digital rape and sexual harassment that she dealt with via AI, I'm wondering if she's literally gonna pass like the first legislative law around the usage of AI, if there's going to be some controversy of that overlapping with the Republican Party. Because I think it's notable that the AI images of her were football oriented, like her literally at a game. I think if they can pin that on like a right-wing person putting her in that position, that will aid in legislation and then aiding in a vote and then aiding in political turning.